Men are disturbed not by things but by the views which they take of them. Epictetus. What if I told you that almost everything you feel, anger, jealousy, fear, even envy, isn't caused by the world around you, but by the hidden patterns of human nature that everyone shares, even the people you trust the most? Imagine realizing that so many of your daily frustrations, your moments of self-doubt, and your cravings for validation aren't random. They're predictable, timeless, and something the Stoics understood over 2,000 years ago. In this video, we're diving deep into the 7 brutal truths about human nature that the Stoics saw long before psychology textbooks existed. These aren't feel-good platitudes. They're hard-hitting realities about the way humans think, react, and often sabotage themselves. But here's the thing. Once you understand these truths, you gain a secret weapon, a way to navigate life calmly, see people clearly, and master your emotions in situations where most lose control. So stick with me till the very end. Each truth builds on the last, and by the time we're done, you won't just know why people act the way they do. You'll know exactly how to respond in a way that keeps your peace, your power, and your perspective unshaken. Number 1, most people act out of fear or self-interest, not reason. One of the most uncomfortable truths the Stoics understood, and one that can shake you if you face it honestly, is that most people act out of fear or self-interest, not reason. Think about it for a moment. How often do we see others, or even ourselves, making choices that aren't guided by logic, justice, or the pursuit of virtue, but instead by some internal pressure, anxiety, or desire to protect ego, status, or comfort? Epictetus warned that it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. If you truly grasp this, you realize that much of what seems like random human behavior is actually predictable if you look beneath the surface. People are often driven by fear, the fear of loss, the fear of being wrong, the fear of not being seen as competent. And just as often, they act from self-interest, seeking gain or advantage without stopping to consider the wider consequences. It's not malicious, it's human, but understanding it is your power. Once you accept this, the lens through which you see the world shifts. You stop taking things personally. When someone acts selfishly or out of fear, it's not about you. It's about their own internal struggle, their own inability to act from reason. Reminds us, whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? The more you internalize this, the more you see patterns instead of chaos. You start recognizing that much of the noise, drama, and conflict around you is born not of malice, but of instinctive self-preservation and unchecked desires. This is where your own discipline comes in. You can't control how others act, but you can control how you respond. Begin by observing your own motives. Ask yourself, am I acting from reason or am I running from fear? Am I pursuing what's right or just what's easy or advantageous to me in the moment? Journaling is a powerful tool here. Spend 5 minutes each day reflecting on your actions and impulses. Write down the moments where you felt fear or self-interest influence your choices. Don't judge yourself, just observe. Awareness is the first step toward mastery. Then practice pausing before reacting. The Stoics didn't just preach reason, they trained themselves to apply it consistently. Epictetus often stressed that between stimulus and response lies a moment of choice. Use that pause. When fear or desire bubbles up, don't immediately act. Breathe. Consider what the rational, virtuous response would be. Over time, this becomes a habit, a muscle you strengthen daily. You're not aiming for perfection. You're aiming for conscious, reasoned action in the face of human impulses that will always exist. Another exercise is reframing your perception of self-interest and fear in others. Instead of feeling frustrated or betrayed when someone acts out of self-interest, remind yourself, this is their nature, not a reflection of reality's injustice. Imagine each interaction as a small training ground. The more you encounter fear-driven or self-serving behavior with calm and reason, the more resilient you become. You're no longer tossed by the waves of other people's impulses. Instead, you stand steady, guided by your own reason. Finally, take this truth and let it inform your goals and relationships. Align your actions with principles, not with what you think will gain approval or protect you from discomfort. Every decision rooted in reason builds character. Every moment you resist fear and self-interest strengthens the freedom you crave. Remember, as said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you train your thoughts toward rationality and virtue, you color your life with clarity and purpose, even while others flounder in fear or selfishness. This is your invitation to act, not react, not follow instinct blindly, but step into the rare, disciplined space where reason governs. Observe, pause, reflect, and choose virtue. That is how you rise above the ordinary patterns of human behavior and walk a path few ever notice, but all Stoics knew was the key to true freedom. Number 2, external events are neutral. It's our judgments that cause suffering. If there's one thing the Stoics understood better than almost anyone else, it's this: the world itself is not out to hurt you. Wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." Think about that for a moment. Every frustrating email, every harsh word, every unexpected delay, on their own, these things are neutral. They just happen. The suffering you feel, the anxiety, the irritation, the resentment, it all comes from the story your mind spins about what's happening. It's your judgment, your interpretation, your labeling of events as good or bad that creates the pain. And here's the thing: if you can learn to step back and separate the fact from the judgment, you can stop letting the world dictate your inner state. You need to start noticing how your mind reacts before you even have a chance to spiral. When something happens, pause. In that pause, remind yourself that this event is neutral. It's not a disaster. It's not a betrayal. It's not a personal attack. It just is. What follows, whether you feel upset, anxious, or frustrated, is entirely in your control. Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." Your emotions are never the fault of external events. They are your responsibility. And taking that responsibility is liberating. It's where your power begins. Start small. Pick one moment today where you feel tension rising. Maybe it's a thought, a passing irritation, a disappointment. Stop. Breathe. Name the event for what it is, not for what your mind says it means. Don't call it unfair or terrible. Call it neutral. Then watch how your reaction begins to shift. You're training yourself to see reality clearly, not colored by fear, anger, or frustration. This is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger you get. The more natural it becomes to step back, assess, and respond with calm instead of reacting with chaos. And don't just stop at noticing. Begin actively questioning your judgments. Ask yourself, is this truly harmful or is it just uncomfortable? Am I labeling this as bad because I want things to go my way or because it really violates my principles? By doing this consistently, you start rewiring your mind. You start creating distance between stimulus and reaction, which is the essence of freedom. Seneca put it beautifully: we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Your mind is capable of imagining horrors and injustices that don't exist yet, and often they never will. By seeing events as neutral, you're no longer a prisoner of imagined catastrophes. Then take it further. Every time you catch yourself slipping into judgment, practice reframing. Ask, how can I use this situation? What can I learn? How can it make me stronger, wiser, more patient? This isn't about suppressing emotion or pretending everything is fine. It's about seeing reality clearly, meeting life as it is, and choosing how to respond with intelligence and composure. Over time, you'll notice something incredible. The world becomes less threatening, less frustrating, less chaotic. Because the chaos was never outside, it was inside. So take action. Start today. Begin by pausing, observing, questioning, and reframing. Make a habit of reminding yourself that events are neutral and your judgments shape your suffering. When you catch yourself reacting automatically, pull back. Use that moment as a training ground for your mind. Practice. Repeat. And remember, as Epictetus urged, you have the power to choose how you interpret the world. No one can take that from you, not circumstances, not other people, not fate itself. You are the gatekeeper of your mind, and by mastering this, you begin living like a Stoic, calm, resilient, and free from the unnecessary chains of suffering. Number 3, we often blame others for our misfortunes, instead of taking responsibility. One of the hardest truths the Stoics understood is that we are often quick to point the finger at others when life doesn't go our way. Epictetus, a master of inner freedom, reminded us that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Think about that for a second. Every time you feel wronged, every time you catch yourself thinking, if only they hadn't, or it's not fair because of them, you are giving away your power. You're handing the reins of your life to someone else, allowing circumstances and other people to dictate your peace of mind. That's the opposite of freedom, the very thing the Stoics chased above all else. You have to start seeing that blame is a habit that keeps you stuck. It's comfortable in a strange way. Pointing outward feels like justice, like you're protecting yourself, but it's really a trap. It masks the deeper, sometimes uncomfortable truth that you have control over your own responses, your own mindset, and your own actions. Wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Those outside events, the people, the circumstances, the situations you think are causing your misery, they're just the canvas. Your mind is the brush, and you are the artist. Until you take responsibility for your strokes, you will always feel like a victim, wandering in a world that seems unfair and chaotic. Now, this isn't about guilt. It's not about beating yourself up for every time you blame someone else. Stoicism isn't punitive, it's liberating. It's about clarity and action. The moment you start catching yourself thinking they did this to me, pause, stop, breathe, ask yourself, what part of this am I responsible for? What can I control right now? That's the pivot point. That's where your freedom begins. You shift from being a passive participant in life to being the architect of your responses. You move from frustration to empowerment, from anger to focus, from stagnation to growth. Here's a practical exercise to anchor this. Every time you feel irritation, resentment, or injustice, write down exactly what happened. Then beside it, write down what you can control about the situation. Maybe you can't control what someone said, but you can control your reaction. You can choose calm over fury, clarity over confusion, action over complaint. Do this consistently, and over time you'll notice a shift. The reflex to blame others will weaken. Your mind will naturally lean toward ownership, toward the Stoic approach of taking responsibility for your own peace and your own progress. Another exercise is mental rehearsal. Each morning, imagine situations where you might feel wronged or frustrated. Visualize yourself responding with ownership instead of blame. Feel the difference. Imagine the freedom in choosing your response, the quiet satisfaction of knowing that no one else can steal your composure without your permission. Said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When you take responsibility instead of blaming, every obstacle is transformed into a stepping stone, every annoyance into an opportunity for growth. The beauty of this practice is that it's both simple and profound. Start small, notice your thoughts, catch the finger pointing, shift it inward. You don't have to be perfect. Stoicism isn't about never faltering, it's about learning to bend your mind toward freedom and reason. The moment you embrace responsibility, you reclaim your life. You stop being a victim of circumstance. You start living deliberately. And that's where real power begins. The quiet, unwavering strength that comes from knowing that no matter what happens around you, you always have control over yourself. Number 4, desire and attachment are the root of most human pain. What if I told you that the endless frustration, the quiet gnawing dissatisfaction, and even the sharpest heartbreaks all stem from one simple source: desire, attachment? The insistent "I need this, I want that" that never seems to stop. The Stoics saw it clearly centuries ago. Epictetus put it bluntly: men are disturbed not by things but by the view which they take of them. That's a fancy way of saying that your pain isn't caused by the world itself. It's caused by how tightly you cling to it, by the expectations you pin on life, and by the relentless hunger for what you don't have. If you can grasp this, even just a little, you begin to realize that your suffering is largely optional. Take a moment and reflect. How often do you feel tense or restless because something outside of you didn't go the way you wanted? You think, "I can't stand this situation, I need it to change. I can't live without this outcome." That very need, that invisible chain of desire, is what turns ordinary events into torment. Stoics call it attachment, wanting what's beyond your control, demanding that life conforms to your whims. Seneca warned us, "We are always complaining that our days are few and acting as though there would be no end of them." Every complaint, every anxiety, traces back to the unwillingness to accept life as it is, to detach from outcomes and possessions and people and circumstances. The good news is that you can practice loosening these chains. Start small. Tomorrow, try noticing one thing you crave, something you usually obsess over, something that feels necessary for your happiness. Sit with that craving. Don't act on it immediately. Watch it, feel it. Recognize it as a desire, not a necessity. This is your first step toward freedom. You're training your mind to separate your sense of peace from external circumstances. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your attachment has power only if you let it. Next, actively remind yourself that nothing outside your mind can truly harm you unless you let it. When a disappointment arises, resist the instinct to blame the world. Resist the urge to grab at fleeting comfort. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this within my control, or am I clinging to what isn't mine to command? This simple reflection rewires your instinctual response to desire. Over time, it becomes easier to let go of the little cravings that silently dictate your mood, your energy, your happiness. You stop running after shadows and start standing firmly in reality, grounded in what you can shape. Finally, create a daily ritual that reinforces this awareness. Each morning, identify one desire you will consciously release, one expectation you will not cling to, one attachment you will observe without giving it the power to disturb your calm. It could be as simple as letting go of irritation at the delay of something, or resisting the urge to check for validation from others. In the evening, reflect on what you practiced, what held your attention, and what you let slip away without pain. This habit, small as it seems, compounds. Every time you detach, every time you choose not to let desire rule your peace, you reclaim a piece of your inner freedom. You can live without being enslaved to cravings. You can feel content without needing the world to conform to your whims. The Stoics didn't just preach this. They lived it, quietly mastering desire, steadily strengthening their minds. And you can do the same. Start today. Notice, detach, reflect. With each deliberate practice, you chip away at the root of human suffering, the root that has quietly ruled countless lives for centuries. Desire and attachment no longer need to be your masters. You have the power to turn them into allies, or at least to strip them of their tyranny. And when you do, the world feels less like a battlefield and more like a place where calm, clarity, and freedom can thrive. Number 5, people rarely change. Character is consistent over time. If there's one truth the Stoics hammered into their bones, it's that people rarely change. Wrote, "Men exist for the sake of one another. Teach them then or endure them." What he's really saying is that expecting others to suddenly transform, to suddenly behave in ways they've never behaved before, is a path paved with frustration. People's character is like the roots of an ancient tree, deep, fixed, and resistant to the winds of passing whims. You can't make someone become generous if they've always been selfish, or patient if their nature is quick-tempered. And the sooner you accept this, the lighter your mental load becomes. This isn't meant to make you cynical. It's liberating. The Stoics weren't suggesting that you close yourself off from the world or stop caring. They wanted you to see reality clearly, without the rose-colored glasses of hope that someone will suddenly become the person you want them to be. Epictetus said it simply, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If people rarely change, then the only place you hold true control is in yourself. Your thoughts, your habits, your reactions, they are yours. And when you realize that, a whole new strategy for living opens up. You stop wasting energy trying to mold others into who you think they should be. Instead, you invest in yourself, shaping your own character, strengthening your own mind, and refining your own virtues. Here's the practical truth. If you want a smoother life, don't chase change in others. Observe them, yes, but with detachment. Recognize patterns in their behavior, anticipate reactions, and adjust your approach accordingly. This isn't manipulation, it's wisdom. When you understand that people's character is consistent over time, you stop being surprised by the same mistakes, the same frustrations, the same disappointments. You learn to step back, breathe, and respond with clarity instead of anger. That is power. You can start small. When someone tests your patience today, pause, ask yourself, is this new behavior or is this just who they are? Recognize the answer, then choose your response consciously. Every time you do this, you are exercising control over your own mind, practicing the Stoic art of self-mastery. Reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. It's a habit you can build like a muscle, repeating it until reacting impulsively feels unnatural, and responding intentionally becomes second nature. Another exercise is to journal about the people in your life who trigger you the most. Write down their consistent patterns without judgment. Don't fantasize about how you wish they would change. Simply observe. Then reflect on your own actions in response. Could you adjust your approach? Could you anticipate the predictable rather than being by it? Over time, you will notice your stress and frustration diminishing. You'll feel lighter, freer, more aligned with reality, and more in control of your own emotions. Ultimately, understanding that people rarely change isn't about resignation. It's about clarity. You redirect your energy from the impossible task of reshaping others to the infinitely more powerful task of cultivating yourself. You embrace what is real, and in that embrace, you find freedom. So start today. Observe, accept, respond intentionally, and build your inner fortress. The Stoics knew that when you master this principle, you gain a profound calm that no human inconsistency can shake. You learn to flow around the unchangeable, rather than crashing against it, and in doing so, you live with strength, serenity, and wisdom that is entirely your own. Number 6, social approval is fleeting, yet we endlessly chase it. What if I told you that the applause you're chasing, the nods of approval, the likes, the comments, they're all as fleeting as the morning mist? Once reminded himself, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. The Stoics understood this deeply. Human nature is wired to seek recognition, yet that recognition is never stable. You might think approval will make you feel secure, confident, even loved. But in reality, it's a fragile thing, here today and gone tomorrow. You chase it, you shape your behavior around it. You warp your own desires to fit its demands. And all the while, it barely satisfies the soul. You have to ask yourself, why do you let the approval of others dictate your peace of mind? Why do you bend your own principles just to be seen favorably? Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You have the power to decide how much weight you give to the opinions swirling around you. You can choose to let them pass like leaves floating down a stream, or you can let them control your every thought. And here's the thing. The more you rely on social approval, the less freedom you have to live according to your own values. The Stoics knew this. They understood that true strength comes from internal validation, not the temporary cheers of the crowd. Now, this doesn't mean you withdraw from people entirely or ignore feedback. No, that's not what Stoicism teaches. What it asks is far subtler. Develop a core of self-respect and inner judgment that isn't swayed by who claps, who frowns, or who remains silent. You have to practice seeing approval as optional, not essential. Start small. Notice every time you pause before seeking someone's reaction. Ask yourself, am I doing this because it feels right to me, or because I want them to like me? This simple question, asked regularly, rewires your attention. You start valuing your own integrity over applause. Imagine a life where your actions aren't designed for someone else's gaze, where your choices are guided by principle rather than popularity. That life is calmer. That life is stronger. That life is yours. And getting there requires daily exercises, tiny but powerful. Write down one decision each day and note why you made it. Was it for approval or for truth? Meditate for 5 minutes, observing your urge to impress or be admired, and let that urge pass without following it. Reflect each night on moments when you acted authentically and savor that feeling. Slowly, you'll notice a shift. The craving for recognition begins to lose its grip. Seneca captured this beautifully. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Approval is exactly that, a craving. The more you chase it, the emptier you feel. But the moment you start prioritizing your own judgment, your own values, your own sense of right, you tap into a freedom few ever experience. You stop being a prisoner of fleeting attention. You begin to live with purpose. You begin to live like a Stoic. So start today. Notice every impulse to seek validation. Pause, reflect. Choose integrity over applause. Turn inward for your sense of worth. Social approval will still exist. People will still judge, still nod, still smile or frown, but you won't be at the mercy of it. You will have something far stronger, a mind anchored in your own reason, a heart that doesn't wobble with the tides of opinion, and the quiet, unshakable confidence of someone who truly knows themselves. That's freedom. That's power. That's the Stoic way. Number 7, life is unpredictable, and resisting its flow only brings frustration. Life is unpredictable. It doesn't matter how much you plan, prepare, or imagine every possible scenario. You will encounter moments that catch you off guard, moments where everything you thought was solid suddenly feels shaky. And here's the brutal truth the Stoics understood long before we put words to it. Resisting that unpredictability only drags you down into frustration, anxiety, and wasted energy. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. You see, the key isn't trying to control what happens around you. That's a fool's errand. But instead learning to navigate the currents of life with calm and clarity. Imagine your life as a river. If you fight against its flow, you're going to exhaust yourself, constantly banging into obstacles. The Stoics teach you to let the river move, to adjust your stance, and to find your footing in the shifting waters. You might not be able to choose what the river brings, but you can choose how you react. And this isn't just abstract philosophy. It's something you can practice every day. Start with the simplest step. When something unexpected happens, pause, take a breath. Don't immediately label it as good or bad. Just observe it. Ask yourself, is this within my control or is it simply life unfolding? That moment of pause creates space between stimulus and response, a space where you reclaim your power. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. Think about that. Every shock, every disruption, every curveball isn't inherently frustrating. It becomes frustrating only because you resist it. You want life to bend to your desires, but it has no obligation to comply. And once you see that resistance as the source of your suffering, you can start to let it go. You can begin to practice something profoundly freeing: acceptance without passivity. Acceptance means recognizing that unpredictability is the nature of existence. It's not about surrendering ambition or desire. It's about aligning your energy with what is actually happening rather than what you wish would happen. Here's a practical exercise you can do today. Choose one small thing that goes off script in your day, something minor yet noticeable. Maybe a plan changes or a task doesn't go smoothly. Instead of reacting with annoyance or stress, pause. Reflect on the fact that the only part of this you control is your response. Then, consciously decide to meet the situation with curiosity or calm instead of resistance. Small moments like this, repeated consistently, train your mind to navigate life's bigger storms with grace. The beauty of this practice is that it reshapes your relationship with uncertainty. You start to see life not as a series of obstacles to overcome, but as a flow to move through. You become more resilient because your energy isn't wasted fighting what cannot be changed. And over time, frustration loses its grip. It's replaced by a quiet confidence, a steady recognition that life's unpredictability isn't an enemy. It's the canvas on which your strength, clarity, and wisdom are painted. So start today. Let go of the illusion that life will always follow your script. Notice when resistance creeps in and gently redirect your focus to what's within your control. Your thoughts, your choices, your actions. The Stoics knew this. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Don't let imagined frustration steal your calm. Practice stepping back, accepting life as it is, and choosing your response. The river keeps moving. So float with it, steer when you can, and feel the freedom that comes from mastering yourself, not the world. Now that you've uncovered these 7 brutal truths about human nature, you might be feeling a mix of clarity and discomfort. That's exactly the point. The Stoics didn't sugarcoat reality. They wanted you to face it, understand it, and rise above it. Remember, true freedom comes not from changing the world, but from mastering your own mind. If this video opened your eyes even a little, imagine how much more grounded and resilient you could become by putting these Stoic principles into daily practice. So don't just watch, reflect, act, and let these truths guide the way you respond, not react, to the chaos around you. And if you're hungry for more insights that cut through the noise and help you live with calm, clarity, and control, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your journey toward mental strength and unshakable peace is just beginning. Until next time, embrace reality as it is, not as you wish it to be, and watch how your life transforms. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. What if I told you that the difference between the person you are today and the unstoppable version of yourself isn't luck, talent, or circumstance, but a handful of simple daily rituals you choose to practice? Think about it. Your willpower is like a muscle. Every decision you make, every temptation you resist, every challenge you embrace, it's all training. And just like muscles, willpower doesn't grow overnight. It's forged in the quiet moments of discipline, consistency, and self-control. In this video, we'll explore 7 powerful daily rituals drawn from the wisdom of Stoicism, practices that have stood the test of centuries, shaping warriors, philosophers, and leaders into individuals who could endure anything life threw at them. If you've ever felt yourself giving in too easily, quitting too soon, or losing control when it matters most, then what you'll learn here might just be the turning point. Stay with me until the very end, because the last ritual isn't just a habit, it's the one shift that could change how you approach every decision for the rest of your life. Your willpower is waiting. Let's strengthen it together. Number 1, morning meditation on control and acceptance. Start your day with a quiet moment that's entirely yours. Morning meditation isn't just a fancy habit. It's a way to train your mind like an athlete shaping muscles, only here you're sculpting willpower. You wake up maybe still carrying the fog of yesterday or the weight of tomorrow. This is your chance to step back, breathe, and remind yourself what you actually control. Wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Let that sink in. Your day might throw chaos at you, but your mind, your thoughts, your reactions is yours, always. Sit somewhere quiet, even 5 minutes works. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. Then gently ask yourself, what can I control today? Identify the things within your power, your actions, your words, your attitude. Let everything else fade. You can't control the world, but you can control how you move through it. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Repeat this in your head. Let it anchor you. Next, bring acceptance into the picture. Recognize what's beyond your control, the traffic, the weather, other people's moods. Picture them as leaves floating down a stream. You don't chase them, you don't grab them, you watch them drift by. And that's enough. Acceptance doesn't mean passivity. It means reserving your energy for the battles you can win, the ones inside you. Try a simple exercise. Each morning, write down 3 things that you can control and 3 things that you cannot. Reflect on them. Feel the mental weight lift as you release what isn't yours. Then, take one actionable step on a controllable item. Maybe it's your tone in a conversation, your focus on a task, or simply choosing patience over frustration. Morning meditation on control and acceptance isn't just a ritual, it's a declaration. You're telling yourself, I decide how my day unfolds, I decide how I respond. And the more you practice, the more unshakable your will becomes. Day by day, breath by breath, choice by choice, you're building a fortress of self-mastery that nothing external can crumble. Start tomorrow. Start today. Start now. Number 2, setting clear daily intentions. If you want unbreakable willpower, it starts the moment you open your eyes. The first few minutes of your day are not just idle time, they're a chance to steer the entire course of your actions. When you set clear daily intentions, you are, in effect, telling yourself, today I choose purpose over drift. Today I choose action over hesitation. This is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. Reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Setting intentions is exactly how you exercise that power. Begin by asking yourself, what are the non-negotiables for today? Which actions, no matter how small, will define a meaningful day? Write them down. Don't overcomplicate it. A few concrete intentions are enough to anchor your focus. The magic happens when you carry these intentions with you consciously, checking in with them throughout the day. Think of intentions as a compass. Without them, it's easy to drift into distractions, to let your energy leak into tasks that don't serve your higher purpose. But when you pause and remind yourself, this is what I'm here to accomplish, your choices become deliberate. You start saying no to what doesn't matter and yes to what does. You start sculpting your willpower moment by moment. Here's a simple practice. Each morning, take 2 minutes of quiet. Breathe, focus, and silently declare your intentions. Keep them specific, not just I'll work hard today, but I will complete this one task before lunch without distraction, or I will respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Visualize yourself following through. Picture the day unfolding exactly as you intend, with discipline and calm guiding your actions. As the day progresses, return to these intentions whenever you feel your mind wandering. This is how small, consistent reminders shape enormous inner strength. Over time, it becomes effortless. Your willpower doesn't flare up in bursts. It flows steadily, like a river cutting through stone, not because the world obeys you, but because you have mastered your inner world. So start today. Before the noise of the day swallows you, set your intentions, declare them clearly, guard them fiercely. In doing so, you are practicing Stoicism at its, shaping yourself with reason, purpose, and unwavering attention. Your willpower will no longer be fragile, it will become unbreakable. Number 3, practicing voluntary discomfort. If you want your willpower to be unbreakable, you need to start courting discomfort, not avoiding it. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But here's the truth. Your mind grows strongest when you step willingly into situations that test your limits. The Stoics knew this. Seneca once wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." You want that kind of refinement. You want to be unshakable, and voluntary discomfort is your tool. Think of discomfort not as punishment, but as training. It could be something as simple as taking a cold shower, fasting for a few hours, skipping a small pleasure, or holding yourself to a challenging routine. These aren't random acts of suffering, they're deliberate exercises in self-mastery. Each moment you say, "Yes, I can endure this," you are teaching your mind to resist the lure of comfort. You are building mental resilience, layer by layer. Here, the key, approach it with intention. Don't just stumble into discomfort, choose it consciously. Start small. Maybe today you skip a snack you crave or choose the stairs instead of the elevator. Tomorrow, push a little further. Feel the edge of your comfort zone and step over it deliberately. That friction creates strength. It's like forging steel, heat, pressure, and repetition. Another way to make this practical is to schedule your discomfort. Create a daily or weekly ritual where you intentionally do something that challenges you physically, mentally, or emotionally. Write it down, track it, reflect on it. Notice how each session leaves you slightly more disciplined, slightly more in control, slightly more unshakable. And remember, this isn't about punishment or self-loathing. It's about freedom. Freedom from cravings, freedom from fear, freedom from the whims of fleeting desire. Reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Voluntary discomfort is how you exercise that power. So start today. Step into one small discomfort deliberately. Let it be your daily proving ground. Each time you embrace it, your willpower grows. Each time you endure it, you reclaim mastery over yourself. Over time, you won't just endure the hardships life throws at you, you'll welcome them, knowing that your inner strength is forged by choice, not circumstance. Number 4, journaling reflections on progress and setbacks. Journaling your reflections on progress and setbacks isn't just a task, it's a ritual that sharpens your mind and strengthens your will. Imagine this. Every day you carve out a few minutes to sit quietly, pen in hand, and confront yourself with honesty. You don't hide from the truth, you don't sugarcoat failures, and you don't shy away from triumphs. You record them. And in doing so, you train your mind to see patterns, to learn from mistakes, and to celebrate small victories that might otherwise go unnoticed. When you journal consistently, you turn reflection into action. A Stoic like Seneca would remind you, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. By journaling, you reclaim that time. You force yourself to examine where your energy went, where your focus slipped, and where you acted with discipline or fell short. This is your opportunity to be brutally honest, yet deeply compassionate with yourself. You are both the student and the teacher in this exercise. and every word you write is a step toward mastery over your impulses. Here's the powerful part. Journaling transforms setbacks into fuel. Instead of seeing failure as a wall, you see it as a mirror. Ask yourself, what did this teach me? How can I respond differently tomorrow? Write it down. Rewrite the story of your setbacks as lessons, not losses. This act alone rewires your brain to approach challenges with curiosity instead of fear. Practical exercise. Keep 2 columns in your journal. On the left, note your wins and progress, no matter how small. On the right, list your setbacks and the lessons hidden within them. Then, close each entry by writing a single sentence about how you'll act differently tomorrow. This isn't about perfection. It's about building a habit of reflection, awareness, and deliberate improvement, one that forges unbreakable willpower over time. Remember, Stoicism teaches that your mind is your fortress. Journaling is one of the keys to guarding it. By facing yourself daily, tracking your evolution, and holding yourself accountable, you create a feedback loop that strengthens your resolve. Slowly, deliberately, day by day, you cultivate a mind that resists distraction, embraces discomfort, and refuses to surrender to impulse. This small daily ritual is more than writing. It is the cornerstone of a disciplined, resilient life. Number 5, deliberate focus on one task at a time. Deliberate focus on one task at a time might sound simple, but in reality, it's one of the most powerful habits you can cultivate to forge unbreakable willpower. In a world that constantly pulls your attention in a dozen directions, mastering single tasking becomes an act of rebellion and a training ground for your mind. You see, every time you scatter your focus, even for a moment, you chip away at your mental energy and weaken your ability to control impulses. Reminds us, concentrate every minute like a Roman, like a man, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness. Let that sink in. Every moment you devote fully to what's directly in front of you, you are not just completing tasks, you are sculpting your inner strength. So how do you put this into practice? Start small. Choose one task that matters today. Don't just work on it, immerse yourself. Silence distractions, close unnecessary tabs, put your phone out of reach. Tell yourself, this is all I will give my energy to right now. Even 5 minutes of true, undivided attention trains your brain. Then expand the window, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Before long, you'll notice something remarkable. Your mind becomes like a lens, sharp and unwavering, able to cut through noise and chaos. A practical exercise. Pick a single, meaningful task and set a timer for 25 minutes. During this time, commit fully to that one activity. No multitasking, no checking messages, no drifting thoughts. After the timer ends, pause and breathe. Reflect on how it felt to give your complete attention. With repeated practice, this becomes a ritual, a deliberate act of self-mastery. Another way to reinforce this habit is journaling. At the end of each day, write down how often you resisted the urge to scatter your attention. Celebrate small victories. Stoics knew the value of this kind of mindful practice. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Wasting time often means wasting focus. Reclaim it. Every single time you direct your attention intentionally, you strengthen your will, sharpen your mind, and cultivate a resilience that carries over into every aspect of life. So today, right now, choose one task. Commit to it fully. Let your attention be deliberate, your focus unwavering, and watch as your willpower grows stronger with each conscious moment. Number 6, reframing challenges as opportunities. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your daily life is learning to see challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities, golden chances to strengthen your character and sharpen your willpower. Think of every difficulty as a tool in your Stoic toolbox, something to use, shape, and learn from. Once said, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. That's not just a fancy quote to nod at, it's a call to action. When you reframe challenges, you turn resistance into fuel. You stop fearing discomfort and start seeking it, knowing that each moment of struggle is an invitation to grow. Start small. When something frustrates you today, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How can I turn this into a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block? It might be a task you dread, a criticism that stings, or an unexpected change. Instead of resisting, lean in. Name the lesson hidden inside the challenge. Identify one way it could make you stronger, wiser, or more disciplined. Suddenly, your mindset shifts. You move from being a passive recipient of hardship to an active participant in your own growth. Exercise this daily. Each morning, set your intention. Today, I will seek the lesson in difficulty. When you face setbacks, write down what you can learn. Even just one sentence per challenge is enough to rewire your perspective. Over time, you'll notice that discomfort no longer paralyzes you. Instead, it excites you. It becomes a signal that your willpower is about to be tested, and tested means strengthened. Remember, reframing challenges isn't about pretending everything is easy or denying reality. It's about controlling your response, shifting your focus, and finding the hidden advantage. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your life is a series of challenges. Your choice is whether they break you or whether they forge you into someone unshakable. So start today. The next time you feel pressure, see it as your personal gym for the mind. Embrace the friction, welcome the resistance, and let it sculpt your inner strength. Each reframed challenge is a brick in the foundation of unbreakable willpower. Every small victory against adversity compounds. You are building resilience, and that resilience will carry you farther than any comfort ever could. Number 7, evening gratitude and self-assessment ritual. As the day winds down, there's a powerful moment waiting for you, a moment that can transform ordinary willpower into something unbreakable. This is your evening ritual, a dedicated time for gratitude and self-assessment. Imagine it as a gentle pause, a quiet lighthouse in the storm of your daily life, where you can reflect on what went right, what went wrong, and how you can sharpen yourself for tomorrow. Said, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive. And likewise, before you sleep, reflect on what you accomplished and where you fell short. This isn't just philosophy, it's a practical tool to forge mental resilience. Start by listing 3 things you are grateful for. Not abstract concepts, but tangible moments, actions, or small victories. Did you hold your ground in a conversation? Did you complete a task you had been putting off? Did you show kindness even in a fleeting moment? Naming these consciously rewires your brain, shifting your focus from what's lacking to what's already abundant. Gratitude is not passive, it's a muscle. Every time you practice it, you strengthen your ability to face challenges without being dragged down by negativity. Next, turn your attention inward. Ask yourself honestly, where did I stumble today? Where did my impulses win over my reason? The Stoics believed self-awareness was the key to freedom. By honestly assessing your actions, you reclaim control over the patterns that limit you. Write down your reflections. Be specific. Instead of vague notions like, I need to improve, pinpoint exact moments where your will faltered and consider how you could respond differently next time. This turns self-assessment into strategy, not guilt. Finally, set one clear intention for tomorrow. Make it small but significant, something that challenges you just enough to grow your willpower without overwhelming your spirit. Remember, Stoic growth is incremental. You are not trying to be perfect. You are trying to be consistent, aware, and intentional. Do this every night without fail. Let the ritual become your anchor. Over time, this simple practice, Grateful acknowledgement, honest reflection, purposeful intention compounds into unshakable mental strength. The quiet moments of reflection might feel small now, but they are building a fortress inside you, one stone at a time. Your willpower is forged in these evenings. Guard them, honor them, own them. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. Remember, building unbreakable willpower isn't about sudden leaps, it's about daily rituals, small but mighty actions that shape who you become. As said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. So, take these rituals, make them your own, and watch your willpower transform from fragile to unstoppable. If you're ready to master yourself and conquer every challenge, hit that like button, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom, and let's keep growing stronger together. Your journey to unshakable strength starts now. Don't wait. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. What if I told you that sometimes the greatest threat doesn't come from enemies outside, but from someone dangerously close, someone who sows chaos under the guise of trust? We often overlook subtle signs because we want to believe the best in those around us. But what if ignoring these signs blinds you to a toxic presence that slowly erodes your peace, your confidence, your very soul? In this video, we'll uncover 7 evident signs that reveal when there is an evil woman next to you. These aren't just stereotypes or myths, they are grounded in Stoic wisdom, helping you recognize manipulation, deceit, and emotional sabotage before it's too late. Watch till the very end, because understanding these signs isn't about fear, it's about reclaiming your power, maintaining your inner calm, and choosing who deserves a place in your life. Don't let subtle poison ruin your path. Let Stoic clarity guide you through this revealing journey. Your peace depends on it. Number 1, manipulates others for personal gain. One of the most unmistakable signs that someone near you is working against your best interests is when she manipulates others purely for personal gain. This isn't about healthy influence or genuine leadership. It's about bending truth, twisting emotions, and playing people like puppets to serve her own agenda. And you need to recognize this behavior, not just to protect yourself, but to reclaim your power and peace. Think about it. Manipulation thrives on exploiting vulnerabilities, the cracks in your armor, the moments when you're emotionally open or uncertain. She knows how to push your buttons, how to make you doubt your own judgment, how to use guilt, fear, or flattery to get what she wants. And if you don't put a stop to it, it becomes a toxic pattern that drains you, chips away at your confidence, and leaves you second-guessing your every move. But here, where Stoic wisdom lights the way, reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. You have the ability to guard your mind against manipulation. It starts with awareness, noticing when you're being nudged or pressured in ways that don't feel right. It means questioning the motives behind words and actions. Ask yourself, is this coming from a place of truth or control? Am I being steered toward someone else's gain rather than my own growth? Now, how do you build that inner fortress? Here's a simple but powerful exercise. Next time you catch yourself reacting emotionally to someone's words or actions, pause. Take a deep breath. Reflect on the root of your feeling. Are you feeling guilt that's not yours to carry? Are you rushing to please at the expense of your own boundaries? When you create that space between stimulus and response, you regain your freedom to choose how you act. Another practice: set clear boundaries, firm, kind, but unyielding. Don't let manipulation slip in through vague expectations or silent concessions. Say no when you mean no. Protect your time and energy like they're sacred resources, because they are. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Don't let craving control you or make you vulnerable to manipulation. Finally, surround yourself with people who build you up, not those who use you as a stepping stone. True allies celebrate your growth and respect your autonomy. They don't twist your words or use your kindness against you. You're in charge here. Remember, the power to remain unshaken lies within you. Stand firm, trust your instincts, and practice these habits daily. Manipulation loses its grip when you refuse to feed it with doubt or fear. Your peace, your mind, your life, guard them fiercely. This is your path to true freedom. Number 2, shows no empathy or remorse. When someone shows no empathy or remorse, it's a glaring red flag you cannot afford to ignore. You might find yourself asking, how can a person just shut off their feelings for others? How can they walk away from harm they've caused without a flicker of regret? This lack of empathy is more than just coldness. It's a sign of deep disconnect from what it means to be human. And here's the truth: you don't have to accept that energy in your life. Empathy is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. It's the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to feel their pain, to understand their joy, and to respond with care. When that's missing, you're left dealing with someone who only looks out for themselves, without concern for the impact of their actions on you or anyone else. They might hurt you, but they won't even blink at the damage done. The Stoics teach us something powerful here. Reminds you, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This means you must embody kindness, understanding, and accountability yourself, even if others don't. You can't change someone who lacks empathy, but you can control how you let their actions affect you. More than that, you can refuse to enable or tolerate it. So what do you do when you're faced with someone like this? First, recognize it clearly. Don't make excuses or explain away their cruelty or indifference. Acknowledge that this is a serious sign. Someone who shows no remorse won't reflect on their mistakes or try to make amends. They're emotionally unavailable and unwilling to take responsibility. And that's on them, not you. Next, start building emotional boundaries. This is your shield. Practice saying no to situations or conversations where your feelings are dismissed or belittled. Remind yourself daily, I deserve respect. My emotions matter. Reflect on Seneca's words. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Don't waste your precious time trying to fix or win over someone who won't meet you halfway emotionally. A practical exercise you can do is this. When you feel hurt or dismissed, pause and breathe. Write down your feelings honestly but without judgment. This isn't about blaming anyone else. Just get clear on what you feel and why. Over time, this builds your emotional awareness and strengthens your inner fortress against emotional manipulation. Another step, cultivate empathy for yourself. Show yourself the compassion that you aren't receiving from that person. Self-empathy is your grounding force. It reconnects you with your own worth and resilience. Remember Epictetus's advice. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. That means it's okay to step away, to protect your peace, even if others don't understand or approve. Finally, make a commitment right now. You will no longer tolerate someone who shows no empathy or remorse. This is not just about cutting toxic ties. It's about choosing peace, dignity, and emotional freedom. You have the power to reclaim your energy and steer your life toward healthier connections. You're not powerless here. You have the wisdom of the Stoics on your side and your own inner strength waiting to be unleashed. Start today. See the truth clearly, set your boundaries firmly, and prioritize your own emotional well-being above all. This is your life, and you deserve relationships rooted in respect, empathy, and care. Don't settle for less. Number 3, constantly spreads negativity and drama. When someone constantly spreads negativity and drama around you, it's more than just annoying. It's a direct attack on your peace of mind. This behavior isn't accidental. It's a deliberate disturbance that drags your energy down and distorts your perspective. You need to recognize this for what it is and take back control. As reminded us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you let someone else's dark cloud color your day, you lose your power to shape your own experience. You owe it to yourself to shut out this noise. Negativity breeds more negativity. Drama fuels chaos, and chaos erodes your calm. When someone persistently douses conversations with complaints, gossip, or toxic opinions, they're stealing your focus and pulling you away from what truly matters: your growth, your purpose, your inner peace. Here's the thing: you don't have to engage, you don't have to absorb their poison, you can choose how you react. Epictetus taught us that it's not external events that disturb us but our judgments about them. You have the power to decide what you let in. Start by observing your reactions. When negativity comes your way, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, is this something I want to carry with me? Does this serve my path to tranquility? Take a moment now to practice this. When you sense drama creeping in, mentally step back. Imagine yourself as a calm lake, undisturbed by the ripples on the surface. You see the waves, but you don't let them break your stillness. Hold on to that image. Return to it whenever chaos tries to shake your core. Another way to reclaim your space is to set boundaries firm but calm. You don't need to explain yourself endlessly. A simple, "I prefer to focus on solutions, not problems," or "I'm choosing to stay positive today," can shift the dynamic without confrontation. By doing this, you are not only protecting your peace but also practicing the Stoic virtue of wisdom, knowing when and how to respond. Remember, you're not responsible for someone else's toxicity, but you are responsible for yourself. Take daily inventory of your thoughts. Are you ruminating on the drama or letting it slide off? Meditation can help here. Spend 5 minutes a day sitting quietly, focusing on your breath and noticing any lingering negativity. With practice, you'll strengthen your mental resilience, the armor you need against outside turmoil. Ultimately, your goal is to cultivate an inner fortress that remains unshaken no matter who's trying to stir the storm outside. It's tough, but as Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Don't imagine yourself overwhelmed by negativity. Act now to fortify your mind and choose calm. Your peace isn't negotiable, it's your birthright. Protect it fiercely. Number 4, uses charm to hide true intentions. When someone uses charm to hide their true intentions, it's like a mask, beautiful on the outside but concealing something dangerous beneath. You need to understand this clearly. Charm alone doesn't guarantee goodness. It's a tool. And when wielded by someone with hidden agendas, it's a weapon aimed right at your peace of mind. You might find yourself drawn to their warmth, their laughter, or the way they make you feel seen. But behind that captivating smile, there's a calculated effort to manipulate. The charm is carefully crafted, designed to disarm you, to lower your guard. That's why you have to train yourself to look deeper. Don't just accept the surface. Ask yourself, what's really driving their behavior? What's their goal beyond the friendliness? Reminds us, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth. So, start by seeking the truth behind the charm. Let your curiosity be a shield. Instead of falling for the shine, test the consistency of their actions over time. Are their words backed by steady behavior? Or do you notice shifts, contradictions that make you question their sincerity? Here, where you need to act, practice discernment every day. It's not about suspicion or paranoia, it's about clarity. Begin small. When you meet someone new or face interactions that feel a bit too polished, pause, slow down. Don't rush to trust the glow of charm. Ask yourself quietly, is this person showing their real self or just a version they want me to see? Write down your observations if you need to. Keep a journal of moments where the charm felt off. This isn't about keeping a list of complaints, but about training your mind to spot inconsistencies. Over time, you'll notice patterns. Your instincts will sharpen. You'll build an inner radar that doesn't fall for surface-level allure. Remember Seneca's wisdom. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Don't let fear consume you, but don't ignore your intuition either. Charm hides true intentions because it preys on your hope and kindness. You have to balance openness with healthy skepticism. Make it a habit to check in with yourself after interactions. How do you feel in your gut? Is there tension, confusion, or maybe a nagging sense that something is off? That feeling is important. It's your inner guide telling you to look closer. This practice won't just protect you from those who mask their true nature. It will also cultivate your own authenticity. When you refuse to be dazzled by charm alone, you hold onto your peace and clarity. You live by your own values, not someone else's facade. Start today. Next time you encounter charm, don't rush to embrace it. Observe, question, and reflect. Protect your inner calm fiercely. In doing so, you build strength, the true armor that no charm can pierce. Number 5, betrays trust repeatedly. Betrays trust repeatedly. This is one of the clearest red flags you need to spot and refuse to tolerate. When someone keeps breaking your trust, it's not just a one-time slip or a careless mistake. It's a pattern, and patterns don't lie. If you find yourself constantly questioning her words, doubting her promises, or feeling like your confidence in her is constantly under attack, it's time to wake up and reclaim your peace. You deserve relationships built on respect and integrity. The Stoics remind us that our inner fortress, the citadel of our mind, must remain unbreached. Wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth by which no one was ever harmed." But trust is earned, not given blindly, and certainly not to those who break it again and again. Repeated betrayal chips away at your peace. It stirs doubt, anxiety, and confusion in your heart. You begin to second-guess your judgment, your worth. But you need to stand firm. This is your cue to act, to set clear boundaries, and to protect your emotional well-being. Your time and energy are precious. Don't waste them on people who disrespect your trust as if it's a disposable commodity. Start by observing your feelings when you interact with her. Do you feel lighter and more secure, or heavier and more guarded? This feeling is your inner compass speaking. Honor it. Journal your experiences and emotions after each encounter. Writing will help you see the pattern more clearly and remind you that your peace is non-negotiable. Next, practice asserting yourself calmly but firmly. You don't have to shout or attack. Just speak your truth. When you do X, it breaks my trust and that hurts me. This is not about accusing or blaming. It's about declaring your boundaries. Remember Seneca's wisdom. No man is crushed by misfortune unless he has first been deceived by prosperity. Don't let false trust blind you into suffering avoidable harm. Another exercise. Meditate daily on your own values and the kind of relationships you want to nurture. Visualize yourself surrounded by trustworthy people who honor your spirit and your trust. Feel how different that reality is from the chaos caused by repeated betrayals. This visualization isn't wishful thinking. It's setting your mind's GPS toward healthier connections. You have the power to choose what and who you allow into your inner world. Betrayal repeated is not a challenge you must endure silently. It's a signal to take charge. You owe it to yourself to be the guardian of your own trust. Let go of what diminishes you. Build instead with those who uplift and honor you. In the end, the Stoics teach us to focus on what's within our control. You can't control others' actions, but you can control your response. Choose to respond with strength, wisdom, and boundaries that protect your peace. Remember Epictetus. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Embody trustworthiness and demand it from those who walk beside you. Your peace depends on it. Number 6, thrives on controlling and dominating. When someone thrives on controlling and dominating, they don't just influence your life, they try to own it. This isn't just about someone being assertive or confident. It's about a relentless need to bend every situation, every conversation, every decision to their will. And here's the thing, you have to recognize this for what it is, an attempt to rob you of your autonomy, your peace, your ability to live freely. The Stoics knew this well. Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If you find yourself near someone who constantly seeks to dominate, it's a call for you to master yourself even more fiercely. You must start by seeing control for what it is, a threat to your inner freedom. That means becoming vigilant about where you give your power away. Ask yourself, where am I allowing this influence to seep in? When do I feel pushed into decisions I didn't really want to make? Awareness is your first weapon. Here, what you need to do: begin with small, deliberate acts of reclaiming control. Practice saying no firmly without apology. It might feel uncomfortable at first, like a muscle you haven't flexed before, but this is exactly where growth happens. Reminded us that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So choose your thoughts and your responses with care. When you sense that push for dominance, pause, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this mine to carry? Is this my choice? Then answer with your actions. Another exercise is to ground yourself daily. Spend a few minutes each morning reflecting on what you own, your values, your boundaries, your freedom. Write them down. Keep this list close. When you feel pressured or controlled, revisit it. Remind yourself, you are not a puppet on someone else's strings. You are the captain of your own ship. Don't underestimate the power of your inner dialogue here. The voice inside you can be your fiercest ally or your worst enemy. Train it to be your defender. Repeat to yourself, I control my mind, my choices, my life. This isn't empty affirmation. It's a Stoic practice of self-mastery. Epictetus taught that freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Remember, the need for someone else to dominate stems from their own insecurities and fears. That's on them, not on you. Your job is to stay centered. Don't feed into their attempts to unsettle you. Instead, build an unshakable inner fortress through your thoughts and actions. So act now. Start small, practice your boundaries, and take back your power. The more you do, the less influence that toxic need for control will have over your life. You'll walk taller, breathe easier, and live freer, just as the Stoics intended. This is your path. Own it. Number 7, disregards others, boundaries and feelings. When someone around you consistently disregards your boundaries and feelings, it's more than just annoying, it's a serious warning sign. This behavior isn't just about rudeness. It chips away at your peace and sense of self. If you catch yourself feeling dismissed, unheard, or emotionally drained, don't brush it off. You owe it to yourself to recognize this as a clear red flag and act on it. The Stoics teach us something crucial here. Said, choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. That's a powerful reminder that your peace depends largely on how you guard your inner world. When someone ignores your boundaries, they're testing your limits, pushing your patience, and disrespecting your right to emotional safety. You have the right and the responsibility to defend that. Now here's the thing. Setting boundaries isn't about building walls to isolate yourself. It's about creating a sacred space where your mind and spirit can breathe freely. If someone continually crosses that line, it's a sign that their respect for you is shallow or non-existent. You don't have to accept that. You don't owe your energy to those who dismiss it. Start by becoming crystal clear on your boundaries. What do you absolutely need to feel safe and respected? Write these down. Reflect on your feelings when someone crosses these lines. Does it make you angry, anxious, or powerless? That's your inner compass signaling you to act. Next, practice saying no. This might sound simple, but is often one of the hardest things to do. No is your shield. Use it firmly but calmly. You can be kind and still be firm. Remember Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. React in a way that protects your dignity. Here's a practical exercise for you. The next time someone pushes your limits, pause, take a deep breath, speak your truth calmly but clearly. For example, say, "I need you to respect my feelings on this," or "That crosses my boundary and I won't accept it." It's not about confrontation, it's about self-respect. If you do this consistently, you'll find something amazing happening. You'll start attracting people who respect your space and repel those who don't. Your inner peace will grow stronger. You'll feel less drained, less reactive, and more in control. Remember, allowing others to ignore your boundaries isn't a sign of kindness. It's a quiet surrender of your own power. Guard it fiercely. As Seneca advised, no man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. This is your moment to prove to yourself that your peace matters more than pleasing those who refuse to respect you. So take this to heart. Define your boundaries, protect them, speak up. Your tranquility depends on it. Don't wait for permission, claim your space, claim your peace. You deserve nothing less. Remember, awareness is your first shield. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. If you recognize these signs, take control of your response, protect your peace and guard your mind. Don't let toxic energy dictate your life. If this video opened your eyes, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom that empowers you to live stronger every day. Stay vigilant, stay grounded, and never stop growing. See you in the next video. Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. Zeno of. What if I told you that the difference between being respected and being dismissed often comes down to the words you choose every single day? You could have all the knowledge in the world, but if your speech is careless, it can sabotage your influence, relationships, and even your inner peace. The wise know that language isn't just a tool, it's a weapon, a shield, and a mirror reflecting the mind behind it. Every phrase you speak plants a seed, either of trust, respect, or doubt. The Stoics understood this deeply, choosing their words with precision, not to impress, but to inspire and to act in harmony with reason. And the truth is, you don't need a lifetime of study to start speaking like a wise man. You just need to adopt the right daily phrases that shift your mindset and elevate your presence. In this video, we'll uncover 7 powerful phrases that the men use daily, not as tricks, but as guiding principles for clarity, strength, and respect. Watch until the end, because the final phrase has the power to change the way you approach every conversation for the rest of your life. Your words are your legacy. Let's sharpen them. Number 1, I control my reactions. These 4 words are a fortress. They place you at the helm of your own mind, no longer a prisoner to the chaos outside. The Stoics believed that the world will throw storms at you, sharp words, unexpected setbacks, shifting circumstances. But none of these can truly touch you unless you hand them the key to your inner peace. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you truly embrace this phrase, you stop letting life dictate your state. You become the observer, not the puppet. The wave may crash, but you decide whether to drown in panic or ride it with calm resolve. This is strength, not the loud, forceful kind, but the quiet, unshakable kind that makes others wonder where your power comes from. But this isn't just a thought, it's a discipline. You must train your mind daily. When you feel the spark of irritation, pause. When a provocation comes, breathe. Let your first response be silence, not reaction. Practical exercise. Begin each morning repeating, I control my reactions. Throughout the day, Notice moments when emotions try to pull you. Label them but don't act. End the day by reflecting. Where did I hold my ground? Where can I improve tomorrow? Control your reactions, and you control your life. Number 2, this too shall pass. 4 short words, yet they hold the weight of entire lifetimes. When you speak them, you're reminding yourself of one of the most liberating truths the Stoics lived by: nothing is permanent. No joy lasts forever, but neither does any pain. Once wrote, time is like a river, made up of the events which happen and a violent stream. For as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away and another comes in its place. You're not meant to cling to moments, good or bad. The river moves on, and so must you. When you truly embrace, this too shall pass, you stop letting temporary storms convince you they are eternal. You stop letting success inflate your ego as if it will never fade. You become anchored in the present, but detached enough to flow with life's changes instead of resisting them. Hear how to practice it. When overwhelmed, pause and breathe in deeply. Silently repeat, "This too shall pass," until your body relaxes. When overjoyed, still whisper it to yourself. Let it remind you to appreciate the moment without grasping at it. When uncertain, use it as a shield against anxiety, knowing that even confusion is temporary. The more you weave this phrase into your daily thinking, the less life will be able to throw you off balance. You'll stop fearing endings, because endings are simply beginnings in disguise. You'll stop chasing permanence, because you'll understand it doesn't exist. Make it a daily habit. Say it in the morning as a reminder, in the afternoon as a reality check, and at night as a comfort. Let it shape your mindset until change no longer terrifies you. Because once you accept that everything passes, you free yourself to live fully in the only place you truly have, this moment. Number 3, focus on what is within my power. When you say, focus on what is within my power, you're not just reciting a nice idea, you're drawing a battle line in your own mind. On one side are the things you can shape, influence, and command. On the other side lies everything else: chance, fate, the will of others, the turning of the world. The moment you decide to live on your side of that line, you reclaim your strength. Here's the truth: your energy is finite. Every ounce you waste trying to control the uncontrollable is energy stolen from what you can control: your actions, your choices, your discipline, your thoughts. The Stoics weren't just telling you to let go of what's beyond reach. They were urging you to pour yourself fully into the ground you do hold. When you live like this, frustration fades. Not because life gets easier, but because you stop fighting battles you were never meant to win. You become lighter, sharper, calmer. And from that calm, you act with precision instead of panic. Practical exercise. Each morning, write down 3 things you can control today, specific actions or attitudes. Commit to guarding your energy from anything outside that list. If something tries to pull you away, remind yourself, "Not mine to carry." Do this daily, and soon you'll find yourself living with the unshakable steadiness of a man who knows where his true power lies. That's not just wisdom, it's freedom. Number 4, let me listen before I speak. This is not just a polite phrase, it's a weapon of the wise. The Stoics knew that most people hear only to reply, not to understand. Epictetus reminded us, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The moment you make listening your first move, you step out of the reactive chaos where most people live and into the calm arena where truth reveals itself. When you rush to speak, you're often guided by emotion, pride, impatience, the urge to prove yourself. But when you hold back and choose to listen, you collect information, read the unspoken currents, and strengthen your position. Silence gives you leverage. It turns you into the person in the room who knows more than they reveal, and that is an intimidating kind of power. Make this a personal discipline. Before you open your mouth, take a breath and think, have I fully heard what's being said? Have I understood the meaning beneath the words? You'll notice that most conversations are less about facts and more about tone, intention, and what's left unsaid. Practical exercise. For the next 7 days, in every discussion, commit to waiting at least 3 seconds after someone finishes speaking before you respond. Use that pause to weigh the meaning, not just the words. Why this matters? The world trains people to be quick to react, quick to judge, quick to reply. But wisdom doesn't live in speed, it lives in depth. And depth comes from listening. By making this phrase, "let me listen before I speak," your instinct, you'll gain sharper insight, make fewer mistakes, and earn more respect without ever demanding it. In the end, remember, words spoken can't be taken back, but words can always be spoken later. Listening first ensures that when you do speak, your voice carries the weight of thought, not the weakness of impulse. Number 5, I accept what I cannot change. Simple words, yet they hold the weight of a lifetime's wisdom. The Stoics lived by this principle, and so can you, if you choose to stop wrestling with the immovable. Wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That's the heart of this phrase. When you say it to yourself, you're not giving up. You're stepping into a position of control, not over the storm, but over your own sails. You're deciding where your energy goes and refusing to waste it on what's already beyond your reach. Think about it. How much of your frustration comes from trying to rewrite things that have already been written? Every moment spent wishing something were different is a moment stolen from what you can shape. Acceptance doesn't mean approval. It means clarity. It's the inner nod that says, "This is how it is. Now, what's my next move?" Here's your challenge. Pause and assess. When you feel tension rising, ask yourself, can I change this right now? Release the grip. If the answer is no, breathe deeply and repeat the phrase. Let it land. Redirect your focus. Pour that freed energy into the actions and choices still within your control. This practice won't make life easier overnight, but it will make you stronger. It will strip away the noise of battles you were never meant to fight and sharpen your attention on the ground where you can truly stand tall. When you master this phrase, you stop chasing illusions and start commanding your reality. And that quietly, steadily, is how you win. Number 6, every challenge is an opportunity. It's simple, but if you truly lived by it, your entire life would feel different. The Stoics knew that hardship wasn't a curse, it was the raw material of greatness. Wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. You need to stop looking at difficulties as walls blocking your path and start seeing them as doors that only open when you push. When you meet resistance, your first instinct might be frustration or avoidance, but that's the moment to lean in. A challenge is life's way of sharpening you, stretching you, preparing you for a higher level of strength and wisdom. If you run from it, you stay the same. If you engage with it, you evolve. The shift begins in your mind. When you catch yourself saying, "This is hard," follow it immediately with, "Good, this is training." That's not denial. That's choosing to work with reality instead of against it. Practical exercise. For the next week, write down every obstacle you face, big or small. Next to each one, write a single sentence starting with, "This is an opportunity too." Review that list daily. Train your mind to automatically reframe. Do this long enough, and challenges will stop feeling like threats. They'll feel like invitations to grow, to adapt, to prove to yourself that you're far stronger than you thought. When you live this way, nothing can truly defeat you. It can only forge you. Number 7, I choose virtue over comfort. It's not just a phrase, it's a declaration of how you'll live when the easy road is calling your name. Comfort is tempting. It's warm, it's familiar, and it whispers to you to stay right where you are. But the Stoics knew that comfort can become a cage. Wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That strength is forged in the moments when you refuse the soft pillow of ease and stand firm in the harder choice. Virtue is not about what feels good in the moment. It's about what shapes you into someone you respect when you're alone with your thoughts. Choosing virtue means embracing discipline when laziness offers an escape. It means standing in truth when bending it would make life smoother. It means seeking growth even when it hurts. Every time you lean into virtue, you sharpen your character like a blade against stone. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but comfort will never demand your best. Virtue will. Practical exercises. Start each morning by asking, what choice today would serve my character, not my comfort? When facing a decision, pause and imagine yourself 5 years from now. Will you be proud you chose this? End your day by reflecting, did I pick what was easy or what was right? Say it often, live it daily. The man who chooses virtue over comfort doesn't just endure life, he masters it. Thanks for watching. Remember, wisdom isn't just about knowledge, it's about the daily mindset we choose to embrace. Start using these 7 phrases in your life and see how they transform your perspective and resilience. If you found value in this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more timeless Stoic guidance. Stay thoughtful, stay strong, and keep growing. Until next time, be wise and live well.